Hi everyone. Before I start, I just want to give a bit of a trigger warning, just out of courtesy, because I know I still have I do have a couple of friends that still smoke, and that has smoked around me. So, um, as I'm talking about this, I just want to keep in mind that I don't blame them because the secondhand smoke I inhaled has is only they've only contributed a small amount of the years of secondhand smoke that I've inhaled through the years. I would have to say at least 90% of the secondhand smoke that I've had to be forced to inhale would come from my mom. Um, anyways, just keep that in mind. This is not to guilt or shame anyone that I know who still does smoke. I'm just kind of I'm just kind of in deep thought here, and I've had a really bad chest cough for the past 2 weeks, and I am struggling to figure out why everything. Essentially, I did explain in my first video series that my mom passed away um, a year ago, come April 21st. So it will almost be coming up 2 years since my mom passed away. But even before that, she was taken to the hospital on February 9th of last year. So I naturally assumed that because being exposed to her smoking has stopped, I guess I naturally assumed my lungs would clear up. But that I but on a whim, like just a few minutes ago, I just got finished watching some very good informational videos about secondhand smoke and why it's something I'm now going to take into consideration as I try to reverse the long term damaging effects of everything that I struggle with in my health. And I think the main thing would be secondhand smoking. And I think I'm learning that it could be contributing to a lot more of my health problems than I think. Um, sorry. Um, so I think I think probably the reason why I have or have and have had a persistent cough for the last few weeks is for people who have had long term exposure to secondhand smoke, um, tend to have bouts of what's called repeating pneumonia. And then there's also something called pneumothorax, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, but something about air in the lungs. But I didn't do really much research on that. Um, I I do have a history of asthma. That started a few years ago, and I don't know how it started. Um, because I mean they say that it doesn't get triggered by secondhand smoke or anything like that. But I don't know, so I'm not sure if I mean I so it's still not really clear to me, or at least it's not clear to me anymore whether or not I'm a true asthmatic or not. I mean I have had sudden attacks where um, I would struggle to breathe and everything, and it would get so bad that I would actually like spit up from my chest, and I couldn't get air in, couldn't get air out, like they get that bad. And by the time I'm done, by the time I'm able to catch my breath, I end up with a very sore throat for like the next day or two. Um, But as I was watching the videos that I was watching regarding this topic, I really started getting emotional because it's because of the certain things I enjoy doing in life. Um, it's uh, it's really going to not provide me such a quality of life, because there are certain things that I think I might not be able to do anymore. Um, so for those of you who really know me the best, you know that like music is is the absolute lifeblood of my heart, soul, my veins, and everything. Um, and even though when I get the opportunity, I get shy about it, I really do like to sing. Um, and I mean, like, and I will sing whenever I have the opportunity, even if I do get shy. But, typically what I'll do when I'm too shy to sing in front of someone is I will deliberately, like, be bad and terrible and everything, just kind of, like, make light of it. But but if I was to really, I think if I was really to try to apply that, like to really apply like what my natural talent for singing is, I would really struggle because, I mean, I just got back into, enjoying singing and everything, just like alone in my room while I watch YouTube videos and everything, the one song that I can't stop singing now is Rewrite the Stars from The Greatest Showman. I actually just watched the movie for the first time last night. It's really good. But the yeah, so Rewrite the Stars is a duet that is sung by Zendaya and Zac Efron's characters. It's a really good song. So I was singing like Zendaya's part and everything, and and I can do really really well. But when it comes to like the long term like belt and hold, like that's something I really struggle with, and it's something I've always struggled with anyways. Because I mean I don't have I'm not classically trained or anything. Not to say that everyone who has natural talent should be naturally trained, because I mean I don't think everybody needs to be classically trained, right? Um, but the fact that like I struggle with that to begin with, and if I was going to take any kind of vocal lessons, it would require, a lot of deep breathing techniques to be able to hold that belt and everything. And, that would have struggled. And I did at one point was taking vocal lessons quite some time ago, about over a decade or two ago. When I was living in Alberta, I was being homeschooled, and I did take vocal lessons as like a music credit, right? I had to. There's certain things you had to do in order to pass the music subject. Anyways, I was able to go and take vocal lessons from an approved source from the homeschool that I was going to at the time, and I did record a couple songs on a cassette tape. When cassette tapes were still popular, or not popular, but when recording things on cassettes was still a thing. And so that was submitted to my music teacher, and that gave me the credits I needed. But I do remember when I was taking the vocal lessons that it was really hard for me, because she wanted me to get my air from my diaphragm, which is really hard. And I don't think, and I think maybe there is some changes happening with the way breathing techniques in terms of singing goes too, because some people like naturally have what's called a chest voice. So like there's I don't know if there's like a diaphragm, if the diaphragm voice is a thing, but I know that that having a chest voice is a thing, also a throat voice, and also like a nasal voice. That's a nasal voice is something you typically don't want to have unless it's something that adds a unique thing to your voice. Like there are some famous singers that do have a nasally tone in their voice, but they're also able to push that tone out either through their throat or their chest, right? So anyway, so I know there is a chest voice, a throat voice, and a nasal voice, but I'm not 100% sure if there's like a diaphragm voice or not. But regardless, I think things are changing in that way, because not everybody can get all their air from their stomach. Some people can only get their air from their chest, right? And I think that's as far as I can go. I think I can only breathe as far as my chest to get and push that air out when I'm trying to like belt and hold a note, right? So, but anyways, it's just and then there's also the fact that now like what I'm doing right now, which is making YouTube videos. I'm really kind of starting to enjoy this actually, but something that I used to do with my cousin when we were really little is we used to like you know do blank cassette tapes and do our own radio shows, and we would just talk and everything. So yeah, so naturally, I think maybe podcasting would really appeal to me if I could find something to talk about. And I know like podcasting would be very different than YouTube videos because you only are just focused on the voice and not the actual image of the person. I mean, with YouTube, especially with this channel, like, well, I mean, not to say that I won't care eventually, because I do have, now that I'm actually doing videos, I do actually have like other ideas planned for like content in this video. So when it comes to that, like, I will probably put more effort into editing it, but at least for right now, like with this vomit vlog series, like editing is not a priority. So like that's not something I really care too much about. So if I cough in the middle of a video, like that's not something that's really going to bother me, because the sole purpose for these vomit vlog episodes would be just to basically speak about what's on my mind. It's basically like because vlogging is essentially like video blogging, and blogging is essentially online journaling. So and journaling is essentially one of the ways you can basically coach yourself into bettering yourself and for spiritual alignment and everything like that. So so that's why, like, with this particular video series, it's going to be unedited, unless there is something that I regret saying that I wouldn't want certain people to find out about. That would be the only exception. But like, other than that, like, it would just be really unedited, raw content like this. So anyways, it just makes me really, really sad, because I'm not sure if there's much I can do to reverse these effects. And one of the videos I was watching, but it really didn't give any kind of clear answer on what the status is with lung cancer. All it said was that one of the earliest studies comparing non-exposed individuals to the exposed individuals from the survivors pool, all these different health issues. But they did say that it's a biased review, because there are some people who did die from lung cancer later in life. So it's not really clear if that is a possibility or not. But regardless, I don't know if I have to worry about that or not. Because, like, I mean, I haven't been, like, losing my appetite. I mean, sometimes I do feel sick after I eat, and I kind of do feel sick after I eat a lot. But again, that might be because of the rare blood disorder that I have, hemochromatosis, which stores too much iron in my blood and everything. And there's a lot of, like, symptoms, even symptoms that you would normally get through other diseases and everything. But those said diseases is caused by this rare blood disorder, right? So I have that I need to take care of, and then also now I got to look into this secondhand smoking thing. But unfortunately, like, I don't see how there's any hope for me at this point unless I do more research. To reverse the effects. So anyways, it's coming up to 15 minutes. So Thank you very much for listening, and take care.